Have a nice day.
Hey, beautiful. It's Wednesday, March 17th, 2021. Welcome to Have a Nice Gay, a podcast that, oddly enough, is also very popular among squirrels. I'm Mike Johnson, and I'm here with my friend Chris Hagee from the We Read Movies podcast. How's it going?
It's going great, Mike. How about you?
So good. Have you been out in the weather? I'm surprised we recorded today. Seattle weather's amazing.
I know. It's really gorgeous. I was up on the roof yesterday with no coat on.
Oh, wow.
I know.
All right. Well, let's talk about last week's quiz.
So last week I asked, take a show that featured predominantly gay characters. If you rearrange the letters of the show's name with no letters left over, you can make two words, one of which is a tree and the other is something that comes off of a tree. And I asked, what show was that? We had a couple of interesting answers and we accepted anything that technically fit. But the answer that we were looking for was the 2005 logo show, Noah's Ark, which you can anagram into ash, which is a kind of tree, and acorn. And before we get any angry letters, the show Noah's Ark is spelled with a C, not a K, which is how that anagram can work.
All right. Well, awesome. We took everybody that wrote in with an answer that worked and tossed them in a hat and pull out. Today we have with us Sean from Orlando, Florida. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Awesome. Take it away, Chris Hagee. What are we doing?
So Sean, today we brought you on for to play a little game, so I hope that's okay.
Yep.
Perfect. So the game that we're going to play today, I don't have a clever name for it, and I wish I did, but I think it's going to be a fun game anyway. I'm going to read you a series of things, and all you have to do is tell me whether it's a monster from a monster manual of Dungeons and Dragons, a Michelin star restaurant, or Michelin star, depending on how you want to pronounce it, or a strain of marijuana that can legally be purchased in some U.S. states.
Sounds good.
All right.
Limited knowledge of all of those things, so this will be fantastic.
Well, perfect. That makes it even more interesting. Do you understand the rules of the game?
Yes, I do.
Perfect. So let's start with this one. Let's start with Owl Bear. Is that a D&D monster, a Michelin star restaurant, or a strain of marijuana?
Owl Bear. Sounds like something that someone would enjoy in Dungeons and Dragons, but not too sure.
It is indeed a Dungeons and Dragons monster. What about Lazy Bear?
Lazy Bear. I feel like that would be a Michelin restaurant that I would go to.
It is indeed a Michelin restaurant. It's also my ex, but that's another story. What about Grape Ape?
Grape Ape. That sounds like a delicious marijuana taste.
I can't speak to its deliciousness, but it is a strain of marijuana. What about Plumed Horse?
Plumed Horse. I feel like that could be a marijuana, but I feel like I'm going to go with a Michelin star restaurant.
It is indeed a Michelin star restaurant. What about White Widow?
I want to say that sounds like a character, so I'm going to go with D&D.
No, that one is a strain of weed.
White Widow, don't do that. That sounds dangerous.
Also, why it gotta be white? Oh. What about Lamb's Bread?
Lamb's Bread. The monster.
No, Lamb's Bread is also a strain of marijuana. What about Black Pudding?
I feel like black pudding could be served at a restaurant, but that might be too obvious. So I'm gonna go with a D&D monster.
It is a D&D monster. Yes, it's like a slime. It'll eat your equipment. What about Jade Dragon?
Jade Dragon sounds like a monster, but I'm going to say that is a restaurant.
That is a restaurant.
Hey.
What about
man?
What about Fire Dragon?
Fire Dragon. Ooh, I think that would be really cool to be a marijuana. Is it?
It is, in fact. And that is the last one that we have. Sean, you did a great job. Hold on. Yep. You win.
You win.
I knew more than I thought I would. That's awesome.
Well, Sean, thanks for being here. Thanks for being on the show and being a good sport. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Sean.
All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. Let's go for next week's quiz. I'm sure you got one.
I do. So for our last puzzle that we did last week, someone mentioned something that I hadn't really thought about, which is that the show Noah's Ark was an American one, and some of our foreign listeners might not have even had access to it. So this time I tried to come up with a puzzle with some more international flair to it.
Okay.
So think of a country. If you drop one letter of the country's name and rearrange the remaining letters, you can make the currency that that country uses. What country is that?
Okay. Another one to noodle on. So that is it for Wednesday Game Day on Have a Nice Gay. Join us tomorrow for another Thankful Thursday. We are Have a Nice Gay Pod on all social media, and our website is haveanicegay.com. If you think you know the answer to this week's puzzle, email us at haveanicegaypod@gmail.com. All correct answers will be placed in a raffle for a chance to play with us on the air next week. Entries must be in by Monday, March the 22nd, 2021 at noon Pacific time. Thank you again to Sean from Orlando, Florida, and Chris Hagee from the We Read Movies podcast. Chris will be back with us next week with the answer to this week's puzzle. Until then, have a nice gay, Chris.
Have a nice game, Mike.
Have a nice gay.